Hi, I'm Miranda Chook, a CPA, and I'm going to talk about IRS Form 4868, which is basically the application for extension of time to file your federal tax return. So if you file this extension, what you're doing is asking for 6 months past the normal April 15th deadline. Or if your reason for filing the extension is that you're out of the country, you're actually requesting 4 months past the normal 2 months extension that you would normally get. Keep in mind when you fill out this form that you have to have a pretty good estimate of what your taxes due are going to be, because you have to remit that amount along with the form. So you're not just filing a form saying, hey, give me 6 months and play around for 6 months. You really have to have a pretty good idea of that final tax amount. Now, the form itself can be found at the IRS's website at irs.gov. Some libraries, post offices may actually have this particular form there, or else you can call the IRS at their toll-free number. Now, the form itself is pretty straightforward. It just asks for your name, address, social security number. But the tricky part is in line 4, which is the estimate of your total tax liability. Now, the instructions to the form will tell you what lines from 1040A, 1040EZ, whatever form you eventually will file, it'll tell you from which lines to take the amounts to put onto your application here. It will also tell you on the next line, which is the so-called tricky one, the payments that you make. It'll also tell you from which lines of the 1040 forms to take those amounts to transfer to your application here. Now, the difference, again, will be the amount that you actually will have to remit along with your application to extend to the IRS. You can file this via paper and mail, and if you do that, then you'll send it a check or money order along with the form. You can also actually apply online directly with the IRS, or some tax preparation software or tax preparation centers will have software where you can do it online, and there you may be able to use a credit card to remit, and you want to keep a copy of that so for your records to make sure to prove that yes, you've paid an amount, so that you can avoid some penalties and taxes should they say you forgot to remit for some reason. Now, you'll want this to be a pretty good estimate, about 90% of what you will actually owe. Otherwise, you may be subject to some penalties and interest on that difference between what your final tax due is and how much you actually remitted on this application to file. So for specific circumstances that apply to you, please check with an experienced financial advisor.